Well, let's turn to the proposed talks between President Trump and the leader of North Korea, Mr. Kim. How confident are you that those talks are going to take place? Any question that they'll happen?
Well, I think this is the result of our special envoy's direct discussion with Chairman Kim.
Kim Jong-un himself announced, first, the North Korean regime wants to talk directly with the U.S. government to discuss denuclearization on the Korean Peninsula and normalizing U.S.-North Korean relations.
I think we're cautiously optimistic that the talks will happen and that this will be a breakthrough for a peaceful resolution of the North Korean nuclear issue.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing that they're meeting up, but I really hope that it goes down to the point where Trump still supports South Korea, and that like North Korea, they speak to us about like what they're actually thinking, you know, considering their nuclear technology.
I hope they could definitely reach a deal about the nuclear program going on in North Korea.
I think right now it's like just testing the waters to see if it's possible at all. But I'm hoping that they're taking this very seriously because it'll be a very big step.
There were times that these two countries seemed at the brink of war, and yet now we are on the verge of what could be a political breakthrough. But it comes with many risks for all parties involved. You don't get much higher than a summit between two heads of state. Normally these things take months, if not years of preparation, if they even happen at all. Previous U.S. presidents had been asked by the North Koreans for meetings. This is something that North Korea's founder Kim Il-sung won. The second leader in North Korea, Kim Jong-il, also tried to meet with a U.S. president. But now Kim Jong-un has invited President Trump. President Trump said yes on the spot, and now they have just a matter of weeks to prepare for what could be the most consequential moment so far when it comes to foreign policy for the U.S. president. And there are many risks involved. What if this doesn't work out? What if they don't hit it off? What if it goes horribly wrong? Then where do you go from there? Some analysts believe this could actually push the United States and North Korea closer to the brink of war if it goes badly. But if it goes well, this could be something significant, something that no other U.S. president has ever done before, normalizing relations with North Korea, one of the most secretive and perhaps difficult countries to deal with on Earth. Could President Trump be the one to convince them that it's worthwhile to abandon their nuclear program, something they have insisted over and over again they would never be willing to do? History shows that negotiations with the North Koreans have seemed promising at first, only for things to fall apart. The United States has often accused North Korea of cheating, of reneging on deals that they agreed to. Will this time be different? We just don't know, and we'll have to wait and see.
Pushing forward on the breaking news this morning, negotiators right now are working to try to free these three men. They are in Sweden now trying to free the men who were there in North Korea.
These are talks that come just 10 days after the announcement that a meeting between President Trump and Kim Jong-un is in the works. CNN's David McKenzie live in Seoul. So David, is the goal here to free these Americans prior to that meeting?
Well, Christy and Victor, yes, I think that would be the goal because it could be a serious precondition of President Trump and others to get those Americans out of North Korea before any formal talks between President Trump and Kim Jong-un. Now, the Swedes have long been involved in helping American interests in North Korea, but this seems to have taken a whole new level of expediency and leverage. A Swedish source saying that the Swedes in those meetings of the past few days with the foreign minister have brought up this issue, that they haven't given any deadlines to the North Koreans, but they said that this could really be helpful in pushing forward things into the right direction, quote, which means, of course, that they are suggesting to the North Koreans that the fate of these three men could be crucial if that really high-stakes meeting happens between Trump and Kim Jong-un.
Top security advisors of Seoul, Washington, and Tokyo got together to discuss the upcoming talks with North Korea. Kwon Chang-ho has the highlights from the latest in a number of meetings held in preparations for the historic summits.
The Blue House on Monday revealed that Chung Eui-yong, Seoul's national security advisor, had been back to the US over the weekend. He had been part of a closed-door meeting with his US and Japanese counterparts H.R. McMaster and Shotaro Yachi. Over 2 days, they were said to have discussed the denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula, as well as how to coordinate efforts in preparing for the landmark Inter-Korean Summit in April and the US-North Korea Summit in May. The spokesperson said that the three advisors also agreed to, quote, not repeat their past failures. For Chung and other South Korean officials, it's been part of a flurry of overseas trips since US President Donald Trump made the shock decision to agree to a meeting with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. The security advisor had also visited China and Russia to brief them on the situation, while another special envoy visited Japan. Last week, Seoul's Foreign Minister Kang Kyung-hwa also met with her US and Japanese counterparts in Washington. North Korean officials have been busy with trips as well. Pyongyang's Deputy Director General for North Korean Affairs, Che Gang-il, has arrived in Helsinki, Finland, where he's slated to meet with former government officials and academics from South Korea and the US. As there are no representatives from the current two administrations, the meeting has been dubbed unofficial in nature and supposed to have no impact on the upcoming summits, but it's being seen as a useful opportunity to test the waters. It also comes on the back of a meeting between North Korea and Sweden's foreign ministers, which concluded after 3 days of talks on Saturday. Although not explicitly stated, they are thought to have talked about the US-North Korea talks, as well as the possible release of Americans detained in Pyongyang. With only a few weeks to go before the potentially historic summits, all parties are scrambling to prepare, and more trips and meetings are expected ahead.
The North Korean leader has to indicate his commitment to denuclearization has been met. That was one of the key points that came out of the special envoys meeting and then conveyed to President Trump. The other was that they need to stop the provocations, and again, clearly stated by the leader himself, no more provocation as long as the dialogue continues. So I think the basic condition that we have been flagging, the US has been flagging, has basically been met.
Now, South Korean military authorities have announced the schedule for the Seoul-Washington annual joint military drills. They did so this morning. They were to kick off in late February or early March, but were postponed until after the Pyeongchang Paralympics wrapped up. That sporting event closed on Sunday. Let's connect to our Oh Jung-hee, who's standing by at the Defense Ministry in Seoul. So, Jung-hee, fill us in.
Mark, the schedules of annual South Korea-US joint military drills, Key Resolve and Full Eagle, have finally been released. It's been a long wait for us reporters here, as the ministry has been strictly tight-lipped about the specifics of the drills, despite lots of speculation. Take a listen.
Defense chiefs of South Korea and the U.S. agreed to resume the annual combined exercises, including this year's Key Resolve drill, the schedules of which are delayed considering the Olympic spirit. The exercises will begin on April 1st and be at a similar level to previous years.
The Key Resolve, a computerized simulation, is to be held for 2 weeks from mid-April. In Full Eagle, a field drill is to last 4 weeks starting from April 1st. The United Nations Command has notified Pyongyang of the schedules through the truce village of Panmunjom, and South Korea also informed the North through the two Koreas' Western communication line. There is a possibility that both drills could overlap with the Inter-Korean Summit talks slated for late April, depending on the actual date of the talks. And the Defense Ministry says the drills will be held just as planned regardless of that. Also, the authorities were reluctant to clarify whether the drills will cover not only defending, but also attacking and striking the North's headquarters. They only answered that the training will be to counter various types of threats from Pyongyang.